Hello and welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Dev series. In this chapter we are building a Node.js API and in this video what we're going to do is get our Node.js server actually working on our development environment, which is going to be fairly straightforward. We're going to write just the very beginnings of our Node.js server. Now what's really cool about Node.js and using the Express library is it is very little code to actually write this. So I'm going to take my time to explain and go through things, and we'll probably do some smaller things and then change it, make it a little more complex in the future. If you are enjoying this series, please comment, like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, guys, hit that bell notification. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/freeskills. You will get merch through there as a reward and also some other perks. So just check that out. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and switch over to my screen here. And what I'm going to do is the first thing is I'm going to pull up my terminal here and I'm going to create a new branch for us to work on. This branch is going to be V2. All right, so now we have a V2 branch. So I'm going to go ahead and push that up so I don't forget to later. Git push set upstream origin v2. All right, so now let's go ahead and clear that. Oops, we'll clear that, and now I have an empty slate here. What we're going to do is in the last video I kind of led you guys wrong. I didn't lead you wrong, but I didn't want to get too complex. So what we're going to do is go up here to this node modules and right click on it and just delete the whole node modules directory. The next thing we're going to do is just highlight package.json and package-lock.json. Right click on that and delete that as well. We're going to go ahead and initialize this as a node project the correct way. So the way that we're going to do that is we are going to go ahead and open up terminal again. Make sure you are in the base, the root directory of your application. So if I do my print working directory, I am in my Nodejs API directory. Once you've done that, go ahead and we're going to go ahead and use the npm init command. And what that's going to do is lead you through a CLI question and answer to properly build out our package.json. So we don't have to add this stuff manually. So go ahead and give us a package name. For me, I'm just going to leave it as API. Version 1.0.0 is fine for me. You can hit enter. The description is going to be example API for YouTube course. You know what? It's not just YouTube. This is Complete Web Developer series. All right, the entry point in our case, what we want to do is put a server.js as our entry point. So type that in and hit enter. Test command, don't worry about that. We're not going to be running unit tests right now. The Git repo, it should pull that in correctly. So for my case, this is correct. We'll hit enter. I could do keywords if this is going to be searchable, but don't worry about that. Just hit enter. For the author, go ahead and pop your own name in here for the author. For the license, just go ahead and hit enter. Don't put, it's going to use an ISC license or whatever, it's fine. All right, so here we go. It asks us to verify this package.json, and we will go ahead and hit yes and hit enter. Now, if we go back here to our application, if I click on package.json, you can see that it added some stuff to our package.json that it didn't have before. Now remember at the end of the last video, we simply had some dependencies, which since we deleted everything and started over, we're not going to have those right now. But we do have some stuff here that's pretty cool that it pulls from GitHub and some repos. This is all going to be useful information, but primarily, yeah, it just builds out the base of our package.json to do that npm init. The next thing that we're going to do is run another command, and we ran this in the last video, but what we want to do here, I'm going to clear this just to make it a little easier to see, and we're just going to run Npm Space Install. Now this is an Npm command, so Npm Space Install, and then I want to save this to my my dependency list, so I do -- save. Otherwise, it would just install it locally and it wouldn't change my package.json. And then when other developers try to use it, they wouldn't get this package. But I do want this package to be for everyone, and that package we're going to use is called Express. So we've already done that in the last video. We're going to do it again, and that is because now you can see it installs Express along with 50 dependencies that go along with it. So we have like 50 packages now installed, and now our package.json has this dependencies added onto the end of it with Express right there. Okay, now that we've done that, what we want to do, we told it that our entry point is going to be server.js. Okay, so what I want to do here is let's create a new file in the root directory of our application. And this new file here, we're going to call this server.js. Okay, once we have that, go ahead and also create another file in the root directory called app.js. Now the server is going to be the entry point to our server, and it's going to give all the server information. And then we're going to keep it a little bit separate, and our app.js file is going to be the actual application for the API. So to go ahead and get started on our server information, what we're going to do is require some of the packages that we've already set up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we want to require a package called HTTP. So we'll do const HTTP is equal to require, and then we'll just require the HTTP package right there. The next thing we want to do is we want to include the app. So this is going to be const app is equal to require. And in our case, this is going to be in the same directory. So we're going to use /app. And what this is going to do is it's going to take the module export from the app.js and require it in as this const app here. The next thing we want to do is we want to set up a port for this server to run on. So in our case right now, we're just going to say port is equal to 3000. Now we are going to change that a little bit later, but for now 3000 is fine. The next thing we do is create our server. So we'll use const server, and that's going to be equal to our HTTP. Now this is required from our HTTP server, dot create uppercase S server. So that is a method that's going to run on that HTTP object that we required in right here. And then what we're going to pass into that is our application. So we'll pass app right into that. The next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and make our server listen on our port. So in order to do that, we just type server.listen, and then anything that happens on port 3000, we'll run it through our app server. Okay, so we're going to just pass the port constant right into there, and then what we're going to do as a second parameter is we are going to create a function, just an anonymous function here, and we'll just console log. So we'll do console.log, and we're going to do backticks, and we'll just say listening on port, and we'll do a space, and then we'll use our string literal here, or our string literal here, and we're just gonna put port. Okay, so we have save. We'll go ahead and save that, and then what we're gonna do is we need to set up our application now, because this isn't going to do anything because our app.js is empty. So go ahead and open up your app.js, and what we're going to do first is bring in Express. Now remember, we just installed Express, so we're going to say const Express, and this is, we're just going to require it through the library, and that is just going to be Express. So that will bring this in, it'll import it here right at the top, and now we can use Express. So we're going to go ahead and create our application. So we'll say const app, and app is going to be equal Express, and now that is a function. So we're going to run this function, which will generate the Express application and save it to this constant called app. Once we've done that, we can just say app. Well, at the bottom, one thing we need to do is down at the bottom, we're going to say module.exports, and then we're going to say equals app. And that will export this app constant right here from this file. So when we import it here, what it's going to be importing is this export right here, which will be an instantiated version of this Express application. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is just set up, we want to do a hello world type page. So what we're going to do here is we're going to actually bring in, we're going to set up const router, and this is going to be app.router, and that's going to be a method call right there. So now we have our router. All right, and then what we're going to do is we need to, the way Express works is we have to set up the route and then we tell it what to do. And so the way that that works is you say router.get. Okay, so the get right here, this could be post, it could be delete, it's the verb that you're trying to use. So in our case, we're just going to use get, and that is a method, and the first parameter of the method is going to be the route. And so in our case, we're just going to do the /, so our root route. And then the second parameter that you give this is going to be a callback function that has 3 parameters built in, but for now what we're going to do is just show 2 of them. And that is the request is the first one, the response is the second one, and then what we do is inside of this we handle that. And so to handle this for right now, all we're going to do is say response.send, and we're going to say hello world. So that'll take care of the home directory. Let's add one more route here. So we're going to say router.get, and this time I want to do / about. And when someone visits the about route, then we want to say request response, and what we're going to do here is just do response.send about us. Okay. The last thing that we need to do here now is we need to so this router right here is actually what's known as middleware. And middleware, this is one of the big powerful things about Express and Node.js in general, is we can use middleware to stack or pass information down through our application. And we're going to use middleware for like authentication and all kinds of things, but we need to use this router as middleware. And what we're going to do is down here at the bottom below where we define these routes, we are going to say app.use, which allows it to use a middleware, and we're just going to pass router into that, just like that, and we'll save it. And that's it. This server will now, unless I have a typo, the server should run, and we'll be able to visit the home directory, and it should print to the screen hello world. Okay, and we should be able to visit about, and it'll print about us to the screen. Okay, so that's how these routes work, and this send method simply sends whatever we do as a response. Okay, so to test this out, what we're going to do is open up your terminal, and I'm going to open a second terminal tab here, and I'm still going to be in the main root directory, and let's just do npm start app.router is deprecated. So what did I do wrong there? Let's go look at that. So we have a problem, and that is because I used lowercase router, and this is supposed to be uppercase router. So let's go back to our terminal here, and let's try that again. npm start what the heck? I screwed something up here. Let me take a look at what I could have possibly done. Oops. So this right here, I tried to run it on the app, and actually this is explicitly a function on the Express application. So that is why that is messed up. So let me save that. So the app, we go ahead and we run the Express function The router, we use express.router as a method, and that will set that equal to router here. This should work now. So let's go back now and fire up the server by going to the terminal and typing npm start. And now you can see that it runs this node server.js. Now the reason it's running server.js is because we told it on the init that our entry point is server.js. Now because we did the, let me show you that, because we did in the server.js, we have this listen, and the second parameter was a function that console log listening on port, and then we passed our port down. So in this case it's 3000. So if you look at the here, it says listening on port 3000. So now to see if this is up and running, we can actually just go to our browser and we'll type in http:/localhost, and then we need to put port 3000. So we'll do :3000 and hit enter, and now you can see it printed hello world to the screen. If I go to port 3000/about and hit enter, it says about us. So if that is happening, that means that these two routes work and we're printing hello world or about us based upon these routes. If you have that, then your application is up and running. Now what happens if we go to a route that doesn't exist? So we'll just say doesn't exist here. Then we get an error message right here printed to the screen that says cannot get doesn't exist. Now it's important to know when you make a browser request here, that is a GET request. Okay, we are getting information from the server. So when I get about here, it is a GET request. So we handle that with the .get, and we're handling this route, and what we're doing back is we're sending about us. Now we're going to be doing a lot more complicated things than this because this isn't all that useful, but this is just showing how to get our server completely up and running to where we can visit it in the browser and make sure that we are having something printed to the screen based upon our routes. And if that's the case, then we can rest assured that our server is up and running and that our app is processing routes. So we're going to clean up these routes and extract them out of this file so this app.js doesn't get super long, but we'll do that in future videos. So I hope that helps. One thing you can do to close the server down is just go back here and hit Control-C, and that will destroy the server. And now if we go and we visit this in the browser, you can see that the site can't be reached, and that's because the server's not running. So again, to start the server, we'll just do npm start, and that will now work, and it prints hello world. So our node server is up and running. All right, guys, well, I hope that's helpful. Let me go ahead and push this up before I forget. So I'm gonna do git status, and now we'll do git add, git commit, and this commit message will just be, we'll just do hello world node express server, and I'm going to do a git push, and then the next thing I'm going to do is check out the main branch here, and I will merge my v2 branch in so that's up to date, and we will push that as well. All right, guys, well that will wrap it up for this video. So please leave me a comment below and let me know how it's going for you. I know that we haven't done much with this, so this looks pretty complex, but just follow along. It'll start clicking. This node is just a different way of creating a server and running a Node.js server on our backend using JavaScript. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of a different syntax for us to learn, but it shouldn't be all that bad. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.